Hi y'all. It's Sunday. I haven't filmed in a couple days. We had some things kind of come up on Friday. I had a client at the school. She was literally amazing, lovely. She had black box dye on her hair, and then underneath and kind of like that nape undercut section was she had already tried to bleach out said box dye. So it was kind of like a color correction moment. I'll insert some pictures because it was really, like, I was so proud of myself. And she had recently went through a breakup, and like, I always have a client, like, I'll start being like, okay, like, I don't know. Obviously this is fun and I want to get through it, but like, I don't necessarily, I love the clients that come in and like, I can tell I'm making their life better. Like, my efforts are being appreciated. And she was one of those where she like left and I could just tell she felt so much more confident and she was so much happier with herself, and like, she looked so good. She looked bomb. And we went like a darker brown on her. Sorry, my skin is like, everything's mad at me right now. I'll explain that in a second. But it literally looked so good on her, but it took me all day. I basically did, so we did an olive color with some baby lights to kind of break up, since she had so much blonde underneath. If I had just thrown color all over, all this underneath is gonna be obviously way lighter. Even if it's the same color, it's gonna be way lighter, whatever. So to break it up, I guess, I also didn't want to just go all super dark, because then there's no dimension in that, there's no breaking that up. So I put a couple baby lights just like around her crown to kind of break up that top section that was all dark brown. And then in her underneath, we did one all over color, so everything was the same neutral tone, but that bottom blonde piece was already filled with like a mousy brown. So then we went over it again with an all over color of a darker brown. So then she still has little pops of highlights. She didn't want to be blonde like at all, no blonde whatsoever. So she had lighter brown pieces so that she was still really dimensional, but everything matched because we filled that under zone, I guess. I don't know, it was a whole thing. And after the first color, it was really difficult because where she had bleached out her box dye, the root of that blondish orange red whatever was like dark maroon, like the color of my red hair, like dark maroon. And then it comes down and the ends were blonde and super ashy green. So that was really fun. That was so fun to try and color correct. It was so fun. It was definitely a learning process, and her reaction at the end was so worth it. But kind of killed me. My brain was on like a million all day. So I came home and literally immediately went to sleep. And then Cole had a piece of his, what the hell is it called? I was there, okay. So Cole had a piece of his Supertine, I don't know, something belt, and then his tensioner both break on his truck. So when he was coming home Friday, those broke, parked it on the side of the road, and all of Saturday we kind of spent getting that fixed because he had to be at work tonight. So all of yesterday was spent, we found a really great mobile mechanic guy who came, did it super fast, had all the right tools, whatever. And Cole helped him. It only took them 2 hours and they had to fix some like pretty serious stuff. So I was very impressed because I had to drive them obviously. So I was expecting to sit in the car for like 5 hours. I was not excited at all. But it was really fast. He was really nice and it was really fast. So that was really nice, but we had to do that pretty much all day. And that stuff's pretty like, I don't know, boring and kind of personal. It's like, I'm not going to show our cars or like this mechanic helping with the truck in a vlog. Like, that just doesn't seem appropriate. So I wasn't going to do that. And obviously it was stressful for me and Cole because like he had to be at work today. There's not really an option, so we were obviously a little stressed out trying to figure that out, and like if he could take my car, if we had to figure out how to get me to school and him to work all week, like it just is a lot. And it wasn't a ton of money, but like it's still unexpected money, so it's always going to be kind of like, why does that happen, you know? But that all worked out, and then we came home. So Friday I did not film literally anything because I was with a client all day, didn't want to like put her on blast. And then I came home and literally immediately fell asleep because I was so tired. And then Saturday we were on like the side of the road all day. And when we got home, I have really sensitive skin. Like you can tell I'm still kind of breaking out. But my whole hands, like all of this section of my hand was bright red, super hives, puffy. There was hives starting to go up my back, hives on like my face, my jawline. I have really, really sensitive skin, and anything to do with the trucks, if Cole does that, even if he washes his hands, like he'll still have oil on them, and like there's obviously staining. You can't get all that stuff off. So then it's like if he holds my hands, touch my bag, touch my face at all, like even just touch my hands and then I touch my face or scratch my arm or something, like I'll just break out in hives. And it's really not that bad, but like I can't really do anything when I'm having kind of like a flare up, I guess, because I can't really clean, I can't really cook, I don't want to touch other things and make it worse. And obviously I work with my hands at school, so if I let my eczema get really, really bad and then I'm itching to the point where I have open sores on my hands, I can't go work with chemicals all this coming week. So it's like I have to be very, very careful when I have flare-ups so that I don't break any of my skin, because when your skin is that swollen and you have the hives, it's super easy. You scratch once and it'll break. Like it's kind of crazy. So we were keeping a very close eye on that last night, and I didn't want to do anything that made it worse. So I didn't cook and I didn't clean any. And you'll see how the past 2 days of not cleaning this house, it's a wreck, and this will be a very satisfying cleaning vlog because I have so much to do. Because we just have not been home enough to take care of things. So, and when we've been home, I've been pretty much not bedridden, but like limited in what I could do. So that's kind of the update from the last couple of days, because it's been a little freaky, and obviously I'm not gonna film that stuff. There's just like, I feel like there's a boundary of personal things where like nobody needs to know that about us. I don't know, or like I'll gladly talk about it, but I don't need to be like showing my clients' faces or showing like the mechanic that was so nice to come help us, or even Cole. Like he is not the social media guy. He's not like, he's never really been a fan of it, and it's kind of funny he's with me because I'm such a fan of it. I think I talked about this in one of the other vlogs too, but he's very supportive. He's very much like, do whatever you want to do, I'll be in the background, I don't care. But he's not gonna like sit down and talk to anybody, you know what I mean? Or like in these situations where it's obviously stressful, intense, he'd be like, why are you filming people? Like, why are you filming me? Because obviously it's a personal matter, I guess. But he is really like, he's an angel. He supports all of this, but that doesn't necessarily mean he has to be in it, or it has to be like his channel too. Like, yeah. Anyways, that's kind of where we're at. But then when he's home, it's like we really just try to spend time together because he's not home very often. We don't have a lot of days where it's just us and we don't have plans 80 other places. And then we were also kind of talking about, so he works Sunday through Tuesday and then Fridays. So he has Wednesdays and Thursdays off. And this calendar year, that happens to be Christmas Eve, Christmas Day is a Wednesday, Thursday, and New Year's Eve, New Year's Day is a Wednesday, Thursday. And so he was expected to be on his current schedule the entire year. So he didn't use any of his time off to take those days off because he already had them off and it wasn't expected to change. and his boss announced on Friday that they were going to do another bid and change everybody's schedules. And the warehouse he works at, that is all based on who's been there the longest. So Cole, being only a couple years in at the company, he's most likely not going to be on his same schedule. So we were trying to figure out Christmas plans, and my birthday's New Year's Day, so we're trying to figure out what that all looks like and how we're going to kind of approach that and how we're going to celebrate and try and work it around our families and stuff like that. So it's just been a complicated couple of days while we're also trying to just enjoy our day off together. So I just left the camera alone for a couple days, and I think that that's healthy. Healthy, and like it's boring stuff you guys wouldn't even want to see anyway. So today we'll get back to the cleaning, regular scheduled content. I'll throw in a couple of like little clips I got from doing my client, maybe her before and after pictures, and then we'll get all set up. I'll start cleaning, because when I tell you this house is a wreck, it's a wreck, and I'm kind of like almost embarrassed to show y'all because it got really, really bad. So yay, let's get started today. Okay, it is 2:30, and I'm gonna go visit Cole for his lunch break. So I'm getting as much done by 6 o'clock as I possibly can. I just finished doing our bathroom, just like wipe everything down really fast. This kitchen's a little crazy embarrassing, so I'll set you up and y'all can watch me clean this horrendous kitchen, like horrendous. Okay, we finished the kitchen to the extent that I can until the dishwasher's done. So, it's like 3. I have a couple more hours. So I'm just gonna chill, wait for these machines to get done, and then I'll do a second round of everything in like an hour. My phone might die, but oh my god. Can you tell I've been picking at that? My phone might die, but I'm gonna make barbecue chicken quesadilla really fast because I'm craving it. It sounds so good. And what was I gonna say? Oh, and I have like an hour till I need to leave so that I can go see Cole. But I'm starving, so I'll make a quick little barbecue chicken quesadilla. But I'm gonna do it kind of in clips because my phone's probably gonna die. Anyways, I immediately got the chicken egg. If you can't tell by the chicken, I literally pushed out of one of the pieces. Immediate chicken egg. So this will get covered in tin foil and left for Cole. Okie dokie. We are off to Cole's work at 6 p.m. So I'm just letting my car warm up, and then I'm gonna go get gas and probably a drink. Little treat for myself, and then we're gonna go visit him. Very fun, so exciting. It's freezing.
Every day, earn freebies, and yes, see some new videos while fueling. There really isn't much.
Okay, we've gotten gas. As my little treat for myself, I can feel myself getting a headache. So, blue Gator Light. And my treat, some Dots pretzels, a little mini bag. So good. But yeah, I kind of feel a headache coming on, so I'm going to try and hydrate as much as I can so I can keep cleaning when I get to the house. Back to the house, I guess. But yeah, Cole should be out any minute for his dinner, and so we'll chat, eat together, and then it's only like a 25, maybe 30-minute drive home. It's not that bad, so nothing crazy. I'm just gonna sit and watch TikToks and eat my snack until he comes out. This pimple on my face is driving me absolutely insane, but I'm back home now. I'm gonna eat some ice cream and watch Sunday service from this morning, and then I do have to actually cook real dinner because Cole needs it for work tomorrow, and I'm still hungry. That like put a bad feeling in my stomach, so I need to eat something good so it's not like I'm not like dying. So I'm grabbing my Bible and stuff, but I'm home now. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's fun to drive. I like driving, but it's kind of a longer drive for how long I'm actually there. Oh my god, please tell me my cat's not in here. Okay, good. Hi, Mooney. She's not allowed in there. The cats tore up my Cole's old like gaming chair. They like ripped to smithereens, so now we don't let him in there with the new gaming chair. Anyways, I'm gonna watch Sunday service, eat some ice cream, and then I started more laundry, more dishes, and after we'll cook dinner.
A little bit where God kind of just bestowed it on me, right? I think about it in relationships where God creates these good relationships, and it's just kind of, I think of it as a blessing that's just wonderful in the body of Christ, that peace that passes all understanding, that movement of God.
Hello. Okay, I am done with my service. It's like 10 p.m. and I still need to cook actual dinner, which I shouldn't have put off, but I did, so here we are. I'm gonna make like it's like chicken piccata, but it's not because I don't do all the fancy stuff like at all. So I feel bad calling it chicken piccata because it's the same ingredients, but probably not done right at all. And I think I'm gonna talk about how I kind of found my faith and how I kind of came to be religious after growing up not religious at all. Like, my family was not even close to religious. So I'm not one to judge at all about your stance on religion. If you hate religion and you think no one should do anything and all that stuff, that's great, that's your opinion. I'm never gonna judge you for that. If you love religion and go to church every Sunday and you're arguably like a better Christian than I am, that's more than fine as well. I'm definitely somewhere in the middle, so I understand everybody's point of view and why people feel the way they do. And I'm very, very picky about who I choose to listen to and support, because I have a lot of family members that wouldn't necessarily be welcome in a lot of spaces. So I'm very picky about where I put my time and effort or my attention, because I'm all about the loving community side. I don't need the hate or the sinners, or like a lot of that stuff is part of the theology, but I don't necessarily agree with the way certain churches push that or push people to be a certain way because of readings in the Bible. So take that as you will. Just know that I love all people. I am not in any way saying that because I'm religious I hate certain groups of people. Not at all. Not at freaking all. But I do want to share why I became religious, and maybe for a lot of people my age that grew up kind of believing religion was not bad necessarily, but grew up believing that that wasn't necessarily something that was needed or you should do. I think growing up and becoming my own person and dealing with some of the things I had to deal with kind of pushed me towards being religious and being faithful. And in that time I would have loved to hear somebody's story and how they came into religion. because a lot of social media is, oh, I found Christ one day and I'm saved now. I'm magically better. I'm fixed of all my ailments. I'm no longer a sinner. I'll never do this, 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 and this, and everything's perfect now and I'm going to heaven. And that's not necessarily what I believe or want to put out there. I think in every single way, God is trying to make me a better person, and he'd never just fix everything I've ever done wrong to make me a better person. He's gonna test me, he's gonna try me, he's gonna give me the tools and the faith to push through things and to learn from things and to become a better person. And overall, my growth and my faith in him is what will lead me to heaven, not necessarily being perfect at all times or never being a sinner or magically being saved and healed. I don't think those things are necessarily true. And if you do, that's completely fine, because a lot of veins of religion are different. So that is just how I view it, how I believe, how I practice. So how I kind of got to that point, I'm gonna start boiling water and trying to start cooking, and then I'll kind of get into why I believe what I believe and how I got there in the first place. So let me take you back to a horrible time in my life. Also, I ordered a squash and this is as big as it came. So I guess I'm gonna cook that. Like, what? Irrelevant. Back to what I was saying. Oh my gosh. I only have very interesting knives left. Okay. So, back in quarantine, I had kind of, I want to be very careful when I talk about the individuals, because I personally haven't talked to them in years. I am aware that people can change, and I am aware that they don't necessarily need me talking about their business. So I'm gonna try and be as careful as I possibly can when talking about my experiences. But COVID for me was right before my freshman year of high school, and my family chose to be very, very cautious. Like, we fully quarantined, we fully, like, there was only so many people I could see, and I had one pretty good friend through all of that was I could see very frequently, so that was nice, but that's about it. So I FaceTime people, I try and kind of stay close, but it was really difficult. Sorry, my washer and dryer is really loud, so sorry. So that kind of gives you a glimpse into what I was going through at the time. Now, at the time I was very close with one individual, fell out, and then the next individual. And at the time, I think I was a pretty easy target, I guess, or like I was a pretty easy person to kind of mistreat in these ways, because I was so kind of isolated and a little alone. And I think maybe if it wasn't quarantine, it might not have happened to me, but I also, like, I'll get into why I'm kind of, I can't say grateful, because I'm not grateful that it happened to me at all. I think it messed up a lot of my own just person, but it happened for a reason. And basically, moral of the story is I turned to God to understand it all. I turned to God because I felt like I had nobody, and I couldn't talk to a lot of the people in my life I did have about it. And it's really hard because it's just hard. It's just hard. It was hard, and I couldn't talk about it with the people I had in my life. So I turned towards God because it just was kind of natural. It just felt like, okay, this is something or somebody I can talk to. I don't think I necessarily believed it was like God, or like, I think I was just desperate for any sort of connection or any sort of anyone to just listen to me. And so at that point in time, it was God. And I think a lot of the people in my life, when they started kind of figuring out what was going on, a lot of people showed up for me, and I'm so grateful for that. But in this particular time, I was probably choosing to still stay in the situation, and in a lot of ways that kind of discredits anything that happens to you. You can say you're mistreated in one way or another, and people will be like, well, you stayed, so you obviously weren't mistreated enough. And I feel like that's a very damaging idea, because obviously it was damaging. It ruined a lot of my life, but it basically, God was my outlet to talk to. I'd like pray, sit, talk to myself, talk through it all, and I'd look through the Bible to, in my mind, be a better person, because to me, everybody disliked me. I was unlikable, I was unlovable, I was untouchable. Like, there was nothing about me that anybody would ever want to be around or love again. So I turned towards the Bible in maybe the wrong way the first time, and I don't know, I'm grateful because it led me to God, but I think it was kind of a superficial way to kind of go to him or be around him. I think it was a little superficial, but I turned towards the Bible to have some sort of guidance on how to be somebody that was liked, because I was not liked. I didn't have a lot of people in my life. So that was kind of the initial reason I turned to it. And when I was finally out of the situation, it was kind of the only thing or person I could talk to and be honest with, and genuinely talk about what actually happened to me. And to this day, I think God and Cole pretty much know the whole story, and that's about it. So I was just always so grateful to have that kind of, I don't know what is going on. Some weird noises coming off this pot. I think there's some grease still on the stove, but at the time, God was the only person I could tell the whole truth to, and so that's what I did. And as I talked about it more, it just kind of took it off my shoulders, at least, and I wasn't carrying that around with me all day. And that was like the biggest relief in the world at the time, because I was still pretty young, and believe it or not, I've kind of been called dramatic my entire life. Anything bad that happened to me, it was kind of like, okay, well, you're being dramatic. And am I dramatic? Yes, I'm not denying that I'm a little dramatic, I will admit that. But I think growing up, it felt very much like I couldn't say certain things, or I couldn't express my emotions in certain ways because it would be dismissed. And so in this scenario, I think that very much like harmed me, because I wasn't able to express what had happened to me and how I felt about it to people, because I was so afraid of being dismissed or just called dramatic. Or I was kind of at a time where social media was ramping up, and like I saw a TikTok on it the other day where like to be honest, and like the rates were all the rage, and like everybody already kind of, it depends who I talked to. Some people thought I was like really well liked and had all these friends and all this stuff, and I was like, what are you talking about? I did not. What? Well, news to me. But I guess maybe I was good at like making it look a certain way on the outside, or on like social media, or I've always been really active on social media, hence why I'm kind of like trying to dodge around specifics about what happened to me, or when or who, because I think it'd be very obvious who it was, and it probably already is obvious who it was, but I don't know. Just for everybody's sake and privacy, I'm trying my best. But I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, like it was starting to become a thing where everybody was connected through their phones, and anybody could say anything about you, and you'd immediately hear about it, or it'd be posted everywhere and everyone would see it, and everybody's opinion of you was so important because now it's on blast for everyone to see. And I think I was at a fragile age too, because you're so like insecure and you don't really know yourself. And then I had all these things happening to me and I didn't know how to say anything or express anything, and it just was a real interesting situation where it's like the perfect storm for me to kind of have nobody or have no way to express it. And I think that's ultimately what led me to religion, was that kind of security of nobody will ever know what I'm saying to God. God cannot gossip about me. God cannot share my secrets. God cannot belittle me for what I'm saying. And that in a way healed something in me, because it felt like I had a genuine friend and genuinely someone to talk to. So that's kind of where it all started. And as my life progressed, it just helped me cope. And it's always helped me cope. And I think there's a big reason why, especially at my age, and especially in the place I grew up, I never turned to weed or alcohol or nicotine to kind of fill that void. And I feel like a lot of that was because I used religion as a coping mechanism. And I also have like a lot of education around addiction, and I think that kind of skewed me away from it, but having other coping mechanisms will always help. So I think that kind of saved me from a lot of that kind of stuff, especially in this time, because it was really difficult to cope. And as life went on and more unexpected things happened, or things happened that I didn't necessarily think were fair to me, it just helped me kind of rationalize things and move on, so that it wasn't weighing me down all the time, because a lot of those things you can't fix, you can't change. So you have to figure out how to just move on. And religion was such a good way for me to tap into that and be like, okay, well, if I work on being a nicer person, then these things are less likely to happen. And that kind of gave me enough comfort to move on from the situations. Whether that was right or wrong, or it was actually going to happen, it just gave me kind of some solace. I don't know. That's kind of where it all started and why I'm kind of still in it today. I don't go to a traditional church, obviously. I don't go Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights, and like do all of that. I think if I also, like, personally, in Cole and I's relationship, I don't push him to be as religious as I am. He has his own opinions, thoughts, feelings, whatever. And one of those is that he would not like to go to a church. That's completely fine. And so, me personally, I don't want to go by myself. I have this person I'm sharing my life with, and especially Sunday mornings is a time where we get to see each other. And if that means when he goes to work Sunday nights, I sit on the couch and I watch Sunday service, and I have that connection to a church and God that way, so that it's not pushed on him. I still get to see him. He's not feeling pressured into anything, and I'm still getting my time in relationship with God and Jesus and my faith. That's what works for us. So that's kind of where I am on going to traditional church. But the services I watch are actually from a church in Washington, which I think is kind of funny. But I watch them. Again, I do a lot of research on the church itself and kind of what they support and how they talk about people. I don't ever want to support a hateful group of people, because for me, that's not what religion and God is. Like I was saying, God was always somebody who was never going to talk behind my back, never gossip about me, never hate me for things that I was or happened to me. So I very much choose my churches and my pastors and people I see on YouTube or follow on YouTube or follow online or in person. I very much choose them to that standard, because that's what God has always been to me. It's never been a hateful place. It's never been a place where you're going to be judged. So I very much choose things based on that. So apparently Washington was my chosen church, and that's fine by me. They do incredible live streams of their services. and I really like their lead pastor. This washing machine is gonna be really loud for a minute, so I'm gonna come back to y'all in a little bit. Okay, I'll be so honest, I'm so overstimulated. I put the squash and lemon, the chicken's done, and these noodles are finishing up, and then we'll throw it all together and I'll be done, which thank goodness, because it's already like 10:30. But back to what I was saying, I follow a church in Washington and watch their sermons. I love their head pastor, and based on my research, they're a very loving group of people. And especially right now, it's the season of Advent, so if you are religious, you know that hope, peace, love, and joy, and each week is a different part of Advent. They light a candle. It's very nice. I think it's like the best season if you're curious about if you're curious about religion, to kind of join in and see how a church looks at those values and preaches about those values. I feel like it's very telling of how a church is. It is kind of in this season. But yeah, I love it. I think it kind of puts me at ease. This is probably the best my mental health and like my everything about myself has ever been. But I'm still finding a lot of joy in religion, and I still find a lot of peace in knowing that I have somebody always on my side. That's what's always stuck with me, is the fact that I always have somebody on my side who's never gonna hate or judge me. And that's something that I very much appreciate and love about being religious. And if you're curious about religion, it's a really good time to kind of start. And I know that was a very long-winded kind of explanation of why I'm religious, but it's been a process. It's been kind of a journey. Especially with the way I grew up, it took a lot of time to kind of push past boundaries of believing that I shouldn't believe, if that makes sense. So I've kind of been through the process. If you have any questions, put them in the comments or somewhere so I can find them, and I'll be happy to answer them. Same about like cosmetology school or the house, or like really anything. If there's any questions y'all have, just let me know, because I'll happily answer anything. But yeah, that was kind of it for now. I'm gonna finish up this food, and then I'll show you when it's done. And then I'll probably wrap this up for the night, but we'll see. Okay, I'm sitting on the floor and eating because it just like grounds me, I guess. I don't know. And there's a kitty taking up most of the couch, but 10 out of 10. So good. So delish. I'm gonna end this vlog here. Thanks for watching my really scattered day. I know I've missed a couple, so appreciate y'all watching this one. Like and subscribe if you'd like. And I'll try to do better this week filming. No promises though. I'm just gonna take a shower after this and go to bed. So good night. See y'all tomorrow.